And welcome to another episode of the Sharp Set of Paranormal. I am your host, Cody. It seems like it's been forever. Um, yeah, I've had some issues for the past couple of weeks, and now we're working on getting back to a regular schedule. Tonight, I am excited. I have a very popular paranormal creator. You've seen her at all these paranormal conventions. You've seen her Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook, and I'm all excited about that. She's one of the biggest guests I've had. I've had Lauren, I've had Adam Kimmel, very big guest. Courtney from the Ghoul Guide is another big guest, and I'm happy that she has agreed to come on tonight. Real quick, we this past weekend, Emmett and I were at Eloise Haunted Gathering because unfortunately I double booked, and so I did not make it to MadCon, which I'm very sad because there was a lot of fun that went on at MadCon, but I will be there next year, hopefully. Anyway, speaking of Eloise, this weekend the haunt at Eloise opens. I'm excited for that. Douglas Tate of Freddy vs. Jason is going to be there, and tickets are just $24.99. They have a little commercial. I'm going to show the commercial. Then we're going to bring Courtney on. So here we go. That is almost as scary as the building itself. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to bring Courtney on now. I'm excited to have her on. So here we go. And there she is.
Hi.
Hello.
Good. How are you?
I am busy. Now that
We love to hear it.
Yeah. Well, not as busy as you. God, you're like everywhere.
Yeah.
You were at MadCon, weren't you?
Yeah. I was at MadCon all weekend, and a few hours before that, I was actually in Salem last week for like a quick 24-hour trip.
You're like, I follow you on Instagram, and like you're everywhere. and you have a lot of history. Like I was looking earlier, you had a post of that a radio station a station in North Carolina had actually received the distress call of the Titanic before the initial distress call.
That was even a shock to me. So recently I had the opportunity to work with Visit North Carolina to do some spooky stuff with them down there. So I was off on my own little road trip, and that was like one of my side adventures that I went on as I was driving around this little like Cape Town. So the old weather station, which is now like a tourist information hub, it actually received the Titanic distress call 20 minutes before the initial distress call that like everyone knows about. And the two officers that pretty much sounded the alarm, they alerted the New York office, and they ended up actually being reprimanded and told to stay off the line because everyone thought it was a hoax. So come to find out it wasn't. And then the whole piece of history was almost lost. But I want to say like back in like 2009 or 2019, they actually found the piece of paper like from the transmission or whatever it was. And it's in the graveyard of the Atlantic Museum, like right around the corner from the actual location.
I'm going to have to make my way down. I was actually just in North Carolina last week.
That's fun.
Well, no, because it was during the little tropical storm that they were having, and it was humid, and I'm from the north, so it was hot, humid, and I just wanted to come back where it's cold.
Yeah, I don't know how I lucked out because I keep getting like all the Facebook photos of like, oh, you were here, so like now like my whole feed is like the Outer Banks. And like the one road that like goes in and out of everywhere, it was all collapsed and it was all like high tide over. So I don't know how I looked out. I'm glad that I did. It sucks that the houses are falling into the ocean now and whatnot.
And that's why I like living in cornfields, is because there's no risk of falling into the ocean. There are tornadoes, but I've seen Twister a few times, so I think I can dodge them.
All I do, we just have snow in Buffalo. We just have snow, so all I do is hibernate from like November to March, and I'm good.
No. There's snow, and then there's buffalo snow. Like when
That's true.
Midwest talks about snow, it's in inches. When Buffalo talks about snow, it's in feet.
All right, that's fair. I'll give you that.
Or stories. Yeah, we're gonna get 3 stories of snow. But like, wasn't it like last year or earlier this year or last year? Like the community came out and like cleared the stadium for the football game during one.
That was probably last year. I don't know. The years just blend together. It was probably the past 2 years. I know the one year for like Christmas, I was snowed into my house for like a week. Like I was sending pictures to friends where you couldn't even see my car outside. Like we had snow drifts like up to the roof of my garage. So it's been fun over here.
So, but for being in Buffalo, you definitely branch out quite a bit, and it's really cool to see. Like I live through your spookiness.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I never realized how kind of central Buffalo is to everything, even though I feel like it's away from a lot of things. But seems to me like anything's like a 4-hour drive away from here. Like Madison's only 2 hours, Pittsburgh's like 3, Albany's 5. So I've kind of mastered the whole road trip where I can definitely branch out. I've also been like very lucky with the friends that I've made along the way and the connections I've made along the way. That's been able to kind of launch me to some places and like to see new places and be able to go out there and get content to bring these places to you guys. So like hopefully one day you actually get a chance to go out there, or it inspires your own little road trip out there.
I want to do a paranormal road trip. I've talked about it, and then I just put it off.
There's
There's so, because you talk about central, and I'm central to like some big locations. So I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I got OSR that's 2.5 hours away. I got Eloise that's 2.5 hours away. I got Indiana State Sanatorium that's 3. Waverly's 4. Randolph is 45. No, an hour.
that's not bad.
Monroe House is 45 minutes away. So like,
yeah,
I'm like right here, and it's like, I do want to branch out, but also all these haunted places.
I mean, that's how I got started. I always like Rolling Hills is like 45 minutes away from me. And Buffalo, we're pretty lucky to have a lot of places, especially in Western New York. Like we had the Central Terminal, which was my first location that I investigated. We have Iron Island Museum. We now have like the grain silos, the Hinsdale House, Wildwood. So like there's a lot. And then like when I first started like really doing the road trips, they were more kind of just going to see the places. They weren't even too investigating. Like especially like around COVID, I and like lockdown and stuff, that's how I got out of the house. So I would make a whole day where I'm like, oh, I'll go to this cemetery, and then on this way there's this spot I can go to. So like that's just kind of like how it all got started, and that's just like what I still do. Like for the North Carolina trip, they kind of gave me a road trip to go on, but I also just took that as kind of just like a starting point, and then I went from there. So I mean, like you have a lot of great spots around you, so you can like literally make it a whole weekend. You can probably make it a whole week. Even if you don't investigate, you can just tour the spots.
What's great is like, because the Monroe House is literally right across the street from Old Blackford County Jail. They're literally, you can walk to them. And I have been at the Monroe House while other people that I know are at Blackford, and we're just like swapping people the whole night. So, which was fun. And we ended up doing an Estes session that was really crazy because it was on TikTok Live. Somebody was at Monroe and at Blackford, and
that's fun.
We got a lot of responses from both locations, and responses to my questions, which was there were actually ended up being 3 separate sessions, but it was pretty crazy. But so COVID is when you started getting into the spooky, or have you already been into the paranormal?
I've already been into it. Kind of just like when lockdown happened, that's when I needed to get out of the house, and this is just kind of like where the whole Ghoul guide idea came from. But I was always into the paranormal. It always found me in some aspect. I grew up surrounded by cemeteries. I went to Catholic school. I started watching all the ghost shows that got my attention, reading all the scary books at like the book fairs and whatnot. So it's always kind of just found me. And then when I was in high school, I kind of just like threw it to the side because not a lot of people wanted to deal with it. It was kind of still taboo. So then I kind of just dedicated my life to like the music scene in Buffalo and just kind of doing my own thing. So then when COVID happened, I kind of just wanted to go out and investigate more. Before it happened, I was just taking out my cousin or like anyone who wanted to like go to Rolling Hills for a night or like to Iron Island or whatever. And then everything just like I started making the Ghoul Guide, and I just kind of had it in mind to just reach out to like-minded individuals who wanted to like go investigate and explore and stuff. And then it just kind of all fell into place.
Yeah, and now you have 104,000 followers on Instagram.
It's wild. It still trips my mind up that 1,000 people or 100,000 people are even like paying attention to me and like what I have to say. It's still wild to me, but I absolutely love it. If anything, they're just cheering me on and just getting me to like really embrace all the weirdness in the world and kind of just see what's out there.
Now, I do have a question. A lot of your photos are like, do you do your own photography, or do you have a photographer that follows you, or?
Nope, it's just me, a tripod, and a dream.
Lots of
and
caffeine.
me like shoving my phone to friends, being like, "Hey, take this picture real quick."
Because like a lot of your photos, it looks like you have a professional photographer that follows you around.
Nope, it's just me, my iPhone, just whatever iStudio, whatever's in the iPhone, and just like a tripod half the time, and like the timer mode. That's like the biggest secret.
That's a testament to how good the cameras are on the iPhone. I actually used to be like a news photographer, and a lot of times I was shooting breaking news on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And these people would be like, "Okay, so what kind of camera you got?" "Well, I got an iPhone." And they're like, "No, seriously, like what? No, it's an iPhone." I was on the phone because I had a video get bought by CBS News and Reuters, and they're like, "Okay, what kind of camera do you use? It's really good quality." I'm like, "It was my iPhone."
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I thought about getting like a professional camera, but at this point, I'm just like, I don't have the time. Everything is just right there in the phone. It's on me all the time, so it's just so much easier.
You got a camera? You got a voice recorder?
Exactly.
Like, what more? Like, exactly. Someone's put, "That's so awesome. What more do you need?" Exactly. Like, what more do you... I bought a 4K camera, like a professional. All it is used for my podcast at this point. It's right here. When I go on location, I'm using my iPhone or my iPad because it shoots just as good.
Mm-hmm. Half the time I forget about equipment. So, and even like half the time I forget to take photos and stuff. So it's amazing that I can come out with like content after some of these locations because I just get so into just being into the moment that I just walk away with barely anything sometimes.
That's my problem. Like my last couple of investigations, I forgot to take pictures. I didn't take a lot of pictures. I was at Waverly. I took maybe 10 pictures total. I was at Eloise. I was at Eloise the last 2 weekends, but I was on an investigation 2 weeks ago, and I think I took 5 photos. That's it. And one of them was a photo of me and my wife. That was it. So it's like...
I mean, that's how you had a lot of fun that night, so I'll take it.
So what has been the most craziest experience during a paranormal investigation that you've experienced?
The first one's coming to mind right now is the past year that we've had at the West Virginia State Penitentiary, especially the last weekend we were there. So last year, my friends decided to handcuff me into a cell and leave me alone. Because why not? So they handcuffed me, and everyone was like walking one by one and like saying goodbye past the cell, and they were really just going to be outside in the yard in case like I truly needed them. And then little did I know that someone was actually in the cell behind me just waiting to give me a scare before they left. So I had my phone propped up, and I did like this little like monologue type of thing, like, I can't believe my friends just like handcuffed me and like left me alone in like one of the most haunted cells inside maximum security of West Virginia. And right as I'm talking, you can hear a pound on the wall, and I jump, and my friend Dylan comes running out, and I exchanged some words with him. And as we're talking, you just hear another pound on the wall, and he instantly goes, "That wasn't me." So I go, "Oh, so that was Steve." And he goes, "No, we're the only two in here." And in the video, you can just see my whole demeanor change. Like, what do you mean? And then he starts laughing. I was like, "No, like this isn't funny. Like, what the hell's going on?" Um, so after that little moment, he left. Nothing else happened. I didn't really get anything on the recorder. Nothing else like made that sound. So we went back almost a year later this year. And this was like at the end of I want to say May and the first day of June that weekend. And there was a group of us that hung out at the maximum security section. And this was popping off for us all weekend. The same place where we heard the bang. And as we walked by cells, we had like the Lucid headphones on, and my friend Josie was hearing um, my name getting like whispered as we were walking by the cells. And then me and my friend Carl, we walked over to the other side while she was on the opposite side. And as we're walking down, all you just hear is this other bang. And it had this like weird reverb to it as if something hit the fence, or like the cage that's all over West Penn. So I yell out for her, and we figure out where each other are, and we realize that it wasn't us. So I instantly go, crap. For like the next 45 minutes, we spent probably about 45 minutes trying to debunk the sound. We were banging on the fence. We were trying to figure out like if anything in the actual cells were like made that sound somehow. What we figured out was that the food cart ended up hitting the wall or hitting the fence, making that same sound, and then when it bounced back, it fell right back into place of where we saw it. So, we played around with it for a few more times, and the few other people that were with us, they totally believed that that was the sound. So we already had that happen, and we were trying to hear if anything more would come from it. And a group of us ended up staying there. And I recently posted this EVP, so people might have an idea of what I'm talking about. We decided to kind of bang on the table and shout out hello, trying to get anyone to yell back to us. And as we did that, what sounded like our friend Tim in the back that like kind of connect like that area of admin that kind of connects to maximum security, it sounded like it was boom, 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 hello. And then all you hear is what we think Tim sounds like saying, "What the F?" in the same inflection and the same goofy tone he always did. And on camera, all five of us just start giggling, like, "Oh, that was Tim." And then we slowly start realizing we're like, "Oh, but like, where is he?" And like, if he was an admin, we would see a light because he was on TikTok Live or something. We would have saw a light starting to come our way. My one friend went into admin without anyone knowing and like did a check of there. Me and the girls, we instantly got on like TikTok. I was texting the group chat like, "Hey, where are you guys?" No one was answering. We went on TikTok and we found out that Tim and our other friend Dylan were on the other side of the prison, complete opposite, paying no attention to whatever we were doing. We were in the chat on TikTok and we were like, "Hey, we think we caught Tim's voice. Like, we think we heard a mimic." And anytime we tried putting that message through, either it wouldn't send through TikTok or it would get buried in the chat and no one could see it. It was the weirdest thing. But then we ended up meeting up with them. We booked it across the prison. Like, we need to show everyone. This is insane. So we booked it across the prison, and we verified it with Tim. Like, no one knew where we were. No one knew we were in Maximum. No one heard us banging. No one knew where Tim was either. So like, there was no way he could have pretty much reacted to that bang and then booked it. He was on TikTok live. Like, no one was paying attention to us. So yeah, that's probably been like the crazy experience since, because I've never heard like a mimic like that. And for all of us to be like, oh, that's Tim. Like, we all know his voice. So just even thinking back to that whole night kind of like trips me up, because I wasn't expecting it, and I never had that happen before.
That is freaky. Now, I'm on your Instagram. Is that the one that's labeled disembodied voice? Is that the one, or I'm trying to find it so I can play.
It's the one in red, the most recent one in red.
I'm on your. Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say I have it.
Oh, okay. I mean,
it's right here. Here.
Oh, I got. Oh, let me see it, because I could play it and I could actually pull it. Okay, yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up so everybody can hear it better. So we're gonna share. Still working with a screen here. There we go. Yes, I understand. Let's proceed. There we go. Here we go. I'm gonna share it. Show on stream. That one, correct?
Yep.
All right, let's play it. Maybe I should turn on the audio.
I was gonna say, it sounds like Tim. Where is he?
Yeah.
I don't know where Tim is.
Yeah. Hello? What's that? It's Tim.
I was gonna say, it sounds like Tim. Where is he?
Yeah.
I don't know where Tim is.
That is.
It's just a moment. I'll never get that voice out of my head.
That is probably like one of the best like EVPs that I have ever heard.
We all got it on our phone. Like, Josie was recording, because we caught this in June, so we've been sitting on it because I thought she would post it. And the other day I was like, can I just like post it? And she was like, yeah, have at it. So it's just been wild, because like so many of us look back on that moment and we still can't wrap our heads around it. It's just the way that it just copies his voice and the inflections, like the way that we all instantly knew it was him, just gives me the creeps.
Now, how does Tim feel about this whole thing?
I don't think he's too pleased about it, but I don't know.
Can't do.
That's just other dimension Timmy, I guess.
I was at ISS. I think it was April of last year, and I go up on the 5-story. I go up on the roof. I'm setting up a camera to do a time lapse of the sunset, and I hear Brittany Cassett was with us, and I heard her say hi, and I say hello, and then I walk all the floors, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. I go down, so the little cafeteria between the two, the nursing home, I go down there, and she's sitting down there playing with equipment. I was like, did you just say hi in the 5-story? And she's like, no, I've been down here the whole time. And I'm like, I just heard something mimic your voice up in the, yeah, cool.
It's weird because I always hear stories about people like hearing me or like hearing my laugh and my voice, which I like instantly get the creeps, because I'm just like, my voice is just so distinct to me, and especially my laugh. So like knowing that something can copy that's just gross. But it's like, I don't know, it's intriguing at the same time. And then Like I said, I always heard stories about other people like hearing this, and I never actually had the chance to hear something mimic someone, especially mimic a friend. So I don't know. So that was kind of like the highlight of the year, as weird as it was.
That's a hell of a highlight. That really,
Honestly, like West Penn totally snuck up on me.
I was supposed to go to West Penn beginning of September. They had that con there. I was actually supposed to be a vendor there, but backed out with the whole thing, the drama that happened, and I'm sad that I didn't go because I feel like I hear so many stories about that place, and I'm just like, I want to investigate there so bad.
Oh yeah, I say if you ever get the chance again, do it. It's a weird place. I want to say the first time I was ever there, it was quiet, but I can't even say that. Like something happened where I'm just like, all right, I'm keeping my eye on you, but I can't like think of it. And then the second time we went back, which is another weird thing. So I do this thing with Polaroids. Sometimes I leave them all around and I have a card that goes with them, and it's like, I hit it on this date. This is like 1 out of 3. So like sometimes I send you on a scavenger hunt. They're just like fun little things from me at some of the places I go to. And I remember the first time I was at West Pine. I think we were up in Newhall, maybe on the 3rd story. I left a Polaroid on a cell door in between the little slats, and completely forgot about it. I thought someone took it by now. No one said anything, so it is what it is. And when we went back 2 years ago, the same place, we had all the lights off. We were just kind of hanging out. We were hearing a bunch of stuff. And at one point I went to go turn because I didn't want my back to like the open cell door. And it felt like something touched my hand. So I was like, oh, that's like, I reacted to it. I was like, oh, this is so weird. And I turned my flashlight on, and the light hit something on that was on the door. So it caught my attention. And when I raised my flashlight up, there was my Polaroid that was sitting there from the year before. Like you can tell it was ruffled through. Like people looked at it to try to like see what it was or like whatever. But yeah, I think like the ghost was like, you forgot this.
Here you go.
So yeah, like here, you left this last year. So I don't know, like, and ever just like since that moment, especially like, I don't know, it's just been a place that snuck up on me, especially like with like the whispers this year. We've had a lot of whispers. At one point we took something from a friend and we hit it up, pretty much for the night, and they were on TikTok live, so we were trying to like sneak around them without them realizing what we were doing. And at one point I thought my friend who ran up to the 4th floor to get it somehow came down without me realizing it, and he was right above me because it sounded like someone was like on the 2nd or 3rd tier just going, hey. And I like looked up and I looked at my friend Steve who was behind me. I was like, did you just say something? He was like, no, I was looking at my phone. And I'm just like, okay. And my friend Carl, like I texted my friend Carl and I was just like, hey, like, where are you? And he's like, I'm still over on the other side of the prison. Like I'm trying to get it out of the cell. So I don't know, but it's a weird place.
I have yet to investigate a prison. That's one of the things that like it's always been like, let's see. Well, Blackford County, but that's a jail. It's not a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to say like any kind of jail thing kind of freaks me out. So.
Yeah, and I haven't really like fully investigated there. I've been there a little bit, but not like a full. I want to do a prison. I really, really want to do a prison. Just because I feel like and this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong. Like all that negative energy gets trapped in there, and it manifests spirits. You know, I don't know. I guess the negative energy from like what it was like trapped spirits in there. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean.
But I mean, like that's kind of the beauty of the paranormal. We don't really know what it is, so we kind of just get all these weird theories about it and try to see what what comes close. But then again, when you do come close, it just kind of throws you for another loop again. So I don't know. You could be onto something.
I could be, but that's why I like talking with Adam Kimmel and Lauren Hellickson, because their theories are just like way out there, and I'm just like, I'm trying to keep it simple.
Yep.
Now, do you do like any experimenting while you're at locations while you're investigating, or do you have a method that you tend to use?
So I like to play with the theory that the more energy you bring into the location, especially like the more high energy, the more you'll get out of it. So I really like having fun on investigations. So I bring like weird solo games into the mix. They sound so awful, and I hate doing them, but I love making other people do them. So like the one time when we were at Waverly, like right after Easter, we had a glow in the dark Easter egg hunt to kick off a 3-day stunt that we were doing at Waverly. And then we did like a sticky note game where we all hid sticky notes around like the Saratoga County homestead one night. And it was kind of like a hide and seek game where you had to try to find one. And we kind of played with like the idea that everyone's energy going in and out and your fear ramping up from you being the only living soul in the building at the time. If that would kind of kick up any extra activity around. So we do stuff like that. But when it comes to like methods and, experimenting like with actual investigating, I kind of tend more to do like the Estes method. I really love it. I also love falling asleep while doing it now. It's one of my favorite pastimes, especially at 3 a.m. when I get thrown the headphones to do it. I think it's a very fun way to investigate without any bias. I know that some people like have thoughts about it and whatnot, but I truly love it. I love the spirit box. I've had so many weird things happen with it, especially in locations when you don't have radio interference and you're just getting straight static. I've had moments where it's kind of heightened, I don't want to say other abilities, but I kind of feel like it kind of put me in a trance and just kind of like opened up my third eye in a sense. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a fun method to kind of play around with.
I love, well, I love Gastus. I don't love going under.
I can go under like all day. Like when I'm out like on the other side of the headphones and I have to ask questions, like I'm just like, what am I doing? Like like I don't know what to ask.
See, it comes natural to me because like I do a podcast, so it's like it's like I'm doing a podcast with the spirits. So like, no, I was at the Monroe house and I was with Angel and Lindsay from Dark Hollow, and I went under because I set a goal on TikTok, like, hey, get me to this goal and I'll do. I don't like going under, and I didn't set it high enough, so we got to the goal and I'm under. And right at the end, I heard my son's voice come through saying, "Hi, Dad."
Ooh, that's a little weird.
I was like, I started to cry, and I'm like, I'm done. I took the headphones. I was like, I'm done. And like, I had heard like the D word prior during that session, and I'm just like, that's my 4th time at the Monroe house, so it's like.
See, I never had a chance to go to Monroe yet, but I've heard so many things about it. So I'm a little weary, but at the same time, I'm also kind of like, all right, let's see what this is about.
Do it. It's worth it. You can't go wrong. It's $175 for the night.
Oh yeah. It's just that. I have to find my way out to Indiana.
Well, I mean, when you're going to ISS Con.
That's very true. I actually haven't been to ISS Con yet. It's always in the middle of the summer, right? Because I still have a day job. So it's right in the height of like getting back to school. And so that kind of takes away my attention. And I was going to go this year, but then the North Carolina trip happened. So I was like, I don't think me and ISS Con are meant to be.
Yeah, I went. This is the first year that I went. I met you at Fairfield Con.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to MadCon, but I was at ISS Con. Had a great time. It was hot. And then the next day I went and did Waverly.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah, I saw a crawler. I saw
Same.
I saw the crawler. I think we were on. Was it the? I think it was the 4th floor.
That's where he hangs out.
And I had, so I was with Tim and a couple other people, and this was my brother's first ever paranormal investigation. I took him to Waverly as his first, and I had like broken off from the group. I was like ahead, and they were on the outer edge, like the sun porch side, and I had went through, and I was in that hallway, and I just round a corner, and it just crawls up onto the ceiling, and I turn around and I say, "Fuck that!" and I just run out. I'm like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm out."
Yeah.
And then,
Ooh, the last time we were there was probably like, I think it was like in maybe 22. Well, whatever time we were there, I was standing by a doorway, and we like split up our groups on like the 4th floor. So we were kind of like by that first bend in the hallway, and somehow I looked down the hallway, and I don't even know why I did this. I had my eyes look to the ground, and I was gonna go like just look across my feet and like kind of like pick up my gaze on the other side of the hallway. And as I did that, I looked over to my left to look down at the floor, and there was someone scrunched down in the door frame next to me. I didn't believe it at first. I kind of did a double take, and when I saw that it wasn't there anymore, I just instantly jumped across the hallway. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do this. It's right there. I don't know what it was. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan.
I did this thing, and I always get picked as ghost bait, and I don't know why it is. So we were on the 4th floor, and this was after the crawler. We went to the area where he was, and we kept getting the sense that there was a kid, and something was being playful. They're like, "Cody, why don't you go running down the hallway?" And I'm like, "Why don't we not do that?" But okay, that was creepy. Something just like moved in my basement. I don't know if it was a cat or a spirit that I brought home or my demon wife. Anyway, don't worry. I say that joke all the time, and she probably saw my first shadow person at ISS with Cody. So
ISS is weird.
ISS is a great place. So yeah, I was running down the hall in the dark, no flashlight. They wanted me to do this in the dark. So I'm running down the hallway, like, I'm on TikTok live doing this, and this shadow figure starts chasing me down the hallway, and I'm like, "Ah!" Is screaming. I don't know why, but I scream a lot during investigations.
Same.
And the spirits seem to have fun with me. Like, I don't know. I was at Randolph County Infirmary, and I got this video because it's so funny. It's not funny to me. I mean, at the time. But I'm on a TikTok live, and I'm in the jail cell, doing a session, and there's a bunch of my friends in this TikTok live, and I'm the only one in Randolph. It's a whole night by myself in the building.
You're so brave.
And I heard a bang, a door slam in the basement, and this was my response. What the fuck was that?
I mean, honestly, mine would have been that too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. So, ISS, same thing. That was my first ever paranormal investigation was ISS, and yeah, I saw a shadow figure. I saw a full-bodied apparition of a nurse while I was standing in the nurse's station. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And it
I don't like
touched
the
me.
nurse's station.
It touched me.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, so here's the story. So my wife and I go to a Ghost Hunts USA tour, and I'm in the nurse's station, and there's that little closet that's on the nurse's station. Mm-hmm. The door opens, and out this comes this nurse, like this white figure, just comes right past me. I don't know if you've ever seen Accepted with Jonah Hill and Justin Long, where they start that fake college, and where Jonah Hill's character screams. That was me. That was my wife is down the hall laughing her ass off at me. So they moved me to the intersection of these four hallways, and the 2 tour guides and like 6 other guests saw this. This apparition comes out of the nurse's station, comes up to me, puts its hand on my shoulder, and then disappears.
Interesting.
Here's what gets a little crazier about that story. That was July of 2022. I went back April last year, and I'm doing an Estes session in front of the nurse's station. Now, one of the guys that was with us did not know that story. And I'm sitting in front of the nurse's station asking questions. And the guy goes, "Hey, Cody, I don't want to freak you out, but I just saw this white figure right behind you in the nurse's station." And I'm like, fuck that. And then I was back in October of last year, and we saw this nurse down the Shadow Man hallway.
Interesting.
So she has a fascination with me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
ISS is weird. I don't know. The first time I ever went there was like right when they first opened it. So it was like pretty much 10 years to the day that it got shut down. So it was kind of wild to see everything just kind of like still hanging out. And like there's still a lot of stuff, like personal belongings that are still there, but it seems like they're kind of like cleaning stuff out. Like the morgue was top. Like I'll never forget walking into that morgue for the first time because it was like floor to ceiling, nothing but boxes and boxes of paper and patient files left behind. And then that one of the first nights that we investigated, we all walked up to the nurse's station, and me and my friend Deanna, we looked at each other right at the same time, and we instantly were like, we need to leave. And the 2 guys that were with us, they were like, okay, no, like we'll just do a DR session here, like we'll just get right into it. And we're like, no, you don't understand, like we need to leave right now. We don't know why, we just need to leave. And we're like, it's not just one of us saying it, like it's both of us. So we ended up going down the hallway that's to the left when you're walking towards admin, and we all walked out of the emergency exit door thinking we could like go down that little ramp, and then we realized we couldn't, so we just kind of like hung outside for a minute. And as we were like just leaning over the railing and taking a breather, the same emergency exit door that we just came out of, it closed, but you just heard someone push on the push bar again as if they were going to come out and join us. So we all like kind of looked at each other, we're like, okay, maybe we were right, we should have left. And then later on that night, we ended up hearing a disembodied voice in the car, which was weird. And I still can't believe that happened. And then the night after that, there was about 7 of us that were sitting on the admin steps, and it looked like 2 people were in the hallway with flashlights, and they were about to join us. And we were going to start like a digital recorder session. So like we were like, oh, let them come in and like we'll have them join, type of thing. But as we were all sitting on the steps, we all watched the flashlights come into the room and then go out, and not a sound was had. Like we're all waiting, no one said anything, there was no noise in the hallway. So we all kind of like looked at each other and we're just like, who was that? 2 people ended up running outside. One ran down the hallway, one ran across into like the little chapel area and like the hair salon to make sure no one was in there. And they both came back and they're like, no one's in the hallway. They're like, no one is around. There's no way they could have left that fast. So that was like our first impression of ISS, and it's just gotten progressively weirder since then.
It is one of those locations that's always, and it doesn't matter what time of day it is, it always something is happening at ISS.
Oh yeah. Like we've had a door slam on us while we were just like hanging out, like exploring inside, like taking daytime photos. We've had people like hear each other from like other rooms that weren't there, type of thing. I don't know. It's a cool place. It's a definitely cool place. I'm really glad that they're actually restoring it and getting all that work done.
Yeah, they finally got the roof above the nurse's station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was seeing photos from like before ISSCon of like the chapel room getting completely redone. The nurses' cottages outside were done. So I don't know. I'm excited to go back. Hopefully in November to check it out.
I can't wait to go. I that is a home away from home for me. I drive truck is my full-time job, and I was actually going from Fort Wayne to Decatur, Illinois. Well, Decatur, Illinois is on the same U.S. highway as ISS, and so I took the long way back and went in front of ISS, and I parked across the road. Didn't go on the property because you never go onto a property unless you pay to be there. So I'm on the shoulder across the road, and I pull up Spirit Talker, and I'm asking questions, and I get back in the cab of my truck, and something touches me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, so I take off and I go, and like the next day, I'm like, all right, we're gonna do that again. And I this time I don't get out of the truck. I'm just sitting in the truck, and I'm like, who touched me? And I get nervous.
It all goes back to that nurse you have.
She must like me. I don't know.
Sounds like you found a little rabbit hole to go down.
I know. And I'm looking at the comments, by the way. I see people that are commenting on the side, but all it says on me is this Facebook user. That's all it says. It doesn't have the name of the people. So like I saw my first shadow person at ISS with Cody. Don't know who said that. I see hi kids, hi Amber, hi Brandy. I want to go back for sure. Always want to go back. But all it says is Facebook user. It doesn't show who it is. I don't know if there's a glitch in the system tonight. I don't know. Gotta love technology. But I see your guys' comments over there. I can't like see if I show on stream.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, I see it too.
Yeah, I'll always want to go back. It says his Facebook user with an M. That's all it says. But yeah, ISS is one of those that you always want to go back to. It's the Ghouls. Okay, well, I got that with Brandy and Amber, but like, have you met the Ghouls yet?
I don't believe so. There's so many people I haven't met because I said I work a day job still, so it's so hard to try to like get the weekends off to go to like the bigger conventions, but I'm definitely trying to spread out next year and really hit up some big conventions. So hopefully I'll be meeting a whole bunch of people.
So are you going to go to Penhurst or Parapsychon?
I think I'm going to go to Parapsychon. If I don't vend, I'll definitely just be popping around, but part of me just kind of wants to like walk around.
Here's the thing. I make equipment. I want to vend, but also I kind of just want to walk around with a microphone and a camera the whole time and just interview people the whole day. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I just want to walk around with like a whole bunch of like stickers and Polaroids and just gonna be like, I'm just here to hang out and I'm just here to like see everyone. Because like I love MadCon, I love vending. But sometimes I feel like sometimes I try, like I always tell myself, I'm gonna venture out, I'm gonna do my rounds. And then like I have help at the table too, but there are just some times where I just end up getting stuck behind the table. And then the day goes by so fast that before you know it, it's time to clean up. And I'm just like, I haven't talked to anyone.
That's a problem. Like I have the same problem. Like I want to venture out, but then like my wife doesn't know the equipment like I do. It's like, let me call my husband. And unfortunately, like the cell towers at ISS Con were like not working properly. So it was kind of hard to get a hold of me. And I'm like, so like, but yeah, I did this bit. I went to Penhurst Paracon this year and I started this bit. I just take a random mic. I take my microphone and I record and I go up to random people, kind of like a Brian on the street type
Love
thing.
it.
So I call it Cody at the Con. So I've done that a few times. And I did that at FCI Con, which was fun. And everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. But I just want to do that at Parapsychon next year, both days. the whole day. I have this portable recorder. It's got a battery pack and everything. So I can just have my mic and I'll just be like, hey, what's going on? And just like play games with people.
Yeah.
I have a backpack of goodies and like give stuff away instead of vending,
That would be fun.
I feel like I would annoy people. That's the problem.
I mean, you never know. You could always just ask beforehand.
Hey, do you want to get interviewed? And
There you
unfortunately, I did it at Pennhurst with this mic, which is my podcast mic. I actually went out and bought like an interview microphone, like a reporter microphone, to do that with.
I mean, you really committed to the bit.
I know.
I love it.
Well, what's great is Sweetwater Sound is like 15 minutes from my house. So they got like all this recording gear and all this stuff. It's so nice. If I need something, I could just go 15 minutes and they got this huge, yeah. Anyway. So what is the number one location that you want to investigate but haven't been to yet?
The first one that comes to mind is Pennhurst. That is the last of my top 3 to get to. Even just to tour in some fashion. Even though I live on the West Coast and I'm always kind of like in Pennsylvania or like in Ohio, not that Ohio matters, but I just never really made my way to that side of the state because I don't really care for Jersey or Philadelphia traffic. So I never really want to go to that side of the state. But one of these days I will venture out there and finally get to experience Pennhurst in some fashion. It's one of the ones that I don't know if I really want to investigate because of the history. I feel like I just kind of like want to go there and experience it rather than like try to see if things are there. Like I already know it's haunted. Like whatever happens. I had that same feeling about Waverly too. And like that night turned out to be like one of the weirdest nights that I've had. So I'm just like, if it wants to show its ghost to me, then so be it. But that's just a place that's kind of like really struck home. I mainly because I work in the special needs field, so I feel very connected to it in general. And I feel like I'd be a great trigger object there in a sense. So I kind of it's just one of those places where I hope to get to do it. It's going to be, if I do investigate it, it's going to be like mainly for myself. I don't know if I'd really post a lot about it. But yeah, that and Winchester. I really, really want to go to Winchester.
I want to go to Winchester House too, but I want to touch on Pennhurst. So my son Emmett, who is 9, went to Pennhurst Paracon with me, and he is autistic. He's high functioning, but he's got an IEP, and
yeah, he's on the spectrum.
He's on the spectrum. I mean, so am I. But so he was getting a lot of he would go explore at Pennhurst, and he was like, Dad, stuff has like touched me and there's nobody around. So like they were playing with him.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
Which was cool. And we've been to like the Bell Mansion here in Fort Wayne. There's a little boy spirit, Andy, that's up on the 3rd floor. And the first time I ever was there, Emmett went with me, and the spirit was playing with Emmett. They were playing toys, and like we would just stand there and we would put like cat balls on different toys, and it would light up different cat balls to which toy it wanted Emmett to play with. So
that's so cool.
It's like, so having a kid on the spectrum and with Pennhurst's history, I was like, do I want to take him there?
Yeah.
But I don't want to. He wants to be a paranormal investigator. He is a paranormal investigator.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he wants to be. He is one. And sometimes I think he's better than me. So I made the decision, like, he's going to go to locations that are going to have a bad history. And so I took him. So, yeah. So
that's so cool, though.
You said so you had your top 3. You said Winchester, Pennhurst. What was?
Well, the original top 3 was Waverly, Pennhurst, and Trans-Allegheny. I've had the chance to investigate Waverly a few times now. I've really only toured Trans-Allegheny, especially it's our kind of like halfway point when we're coming home from Old Hospital on College Hill because it's such a long drive. So we kind of drive up in the morning and do a whole afternoon tour of Trans-Allegheny before we all head home for the weekend and stuff. So I would actually love to investigate Trans-Allegheny as well. I feel like that's just another bucket list thing that has to happen. But like in the new top 3, Penhurst is still there. Winchester is still there too. And then I would have to say maybe Alcatraz. I think that would be a fun one. To just kind of just be left alone on an island prison.
You should go to that one in Ireland, that the Project.
Yeah, I love Ireland. I was there back in 2018 because I did a New Year's Eve trip where I spent New Year's Eve in London. But I didn't really get to do any of like the spooky stuff. So I'm actually dreaming of the day to go back to Ireland just to mainly hit up all like the haunted stuff. Lep Castle is definitely on my list there.
I see. I'm living through your Instagram and all the cool stuff you get to do. So, like, yeah. So, what are the plans for the rest of this year? Like, because we're gonna wrap up here. Because I don't want to all your time. Because full-time job, I get it. So do I. I had that. So,
I know. I was telling someone, I was like, it's a school night. I can't do this. But like mainly for like the rest of the year, the Ghoul guy turns 4 on the 4th or on the 1st. So that's super exciting. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I kind of have something in the works, but I have to figure everything out first. And then I pretty much have a bunch of investigations throughout the week or throughout the month of October and November. I'll be hanging out with Haunted Nights, helping them out. So we'll be at the Old Washington County Jail next week. We'll be at Madison and Fairfield in like 3 weeks. And then in November, I might be at the New Jersey Paracon, just kind of hanging around. And then we have Old Hospital on College Hill and ISS in Billy Creek, I believe. So it's kind of like a jam-packed, just kind of wrapping it up for the year before I go hibernate. But yeah. And then in October, I plan to do a few little series on like TikTok and stuff for like the Halloween season. So there's some new content coming out.
Well, here's the thing. We at Paranormal live spooky season 365, but for regular people.
I feel like you kind of like have to step it up a bit for spooky season. Like, yeah, this is like your your year-round gig, but like, what are you gonna show us for Halloween?
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's gonna be 3 in February, but she's really big into Nightmare Before Christmas. That's like she calls it Halloween. She wants to watch that. So I have 3D printers. So I printed her a Jack Skeleton mask, and she runs around the house with it. It's so cute. I know. But yeah, so she's in the paranormal. We were watching Nick Roth the other day, and she's just intently staring at the TV because he's got the Geo box, which I want one, but they're like $2,000. So yeah, she was tallied for Halloween last year too. See?
Oh, that's cute.
See, the demon entered the chat, so she's gonna kill me. But yeah, no. Are you doing anything on Saturday? Because it's ghost hunting, National Ghost Hunting.
Oh, so I actually might be doing something. I don't know if I'm going to be ghost hunting, but I will probably be going around Western New York and grabbing content. I actually found the doctor who was the superintendent of the Saratoga County Homestead. So I found his grave. So I think I might go take him a tile and go say what's up. And then grab some just content around like that area of New York that he's in. Because everyone's been bitching at me that all I do is talk about Western New York and I never do anything else. So I was like, All right, fine. I'll get the central New York region. But yeah, I don't know. We're kind of just like playing it by ear lately. So I might do that. I know that there's like a little para convention in like Marietta, Ohio this weekend. So I might hit up that. We don't know.
I might go to Marietta. Taylor, we're going to Marietta. Just kidding. I got plans this weekend. But Courtney, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories. And if you don't follow her, why don't you follow her? Because she brings not only does she bring the paranormal, but she brings the history to go along with it. So go follow her. The Ghoul Guide. Everyone needs a Ghoul Guide, and here I got camera's mirrored. Go get. She is your very own Ghoul Guide. Go follow her. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
Yep.
YouTube.
YouTube. There's some shorts on there. I haven't posted in a minute, but we'll see what that brings come spooky season.
But yeah, see, I follow on TikTok. Love your stuff. See, so yeah. So I love her stuff, and I was like, so I saw her at Fairfield Con. I was like, can I get you on my show? Can I get you on my show? And she said yes. And then I finally messaged her. I was like, let's get you scheduled. So
right.
So
love it. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. You have a good night. Go get some sleep.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.